At exactly 6 p.m., on a warm Sunday evening in Lagos, the earth shook. People froze, cars stopped, the sky flashed white. For a brief, terrifying moment, many believed Nigeria was under attack. But this was not a war. There were no soldiers advancing. No sirens blared to warn the city. What exploded that night was hidden in plain sight, right in the heart of Lagos. And by the time the smoke cleared, over 1,000 lives had been lost. This is the true story of the Ikeja bomb blast, one of the deadliest disasters in Nigerian history. January 27, 2002 started like any other day. The city of Ikeja was alive with energy. Markets were crowded with shoppers. Families were relaxing at home. Children were playing outside as the evening approached. Few people ever paid much attention to the massive military compound nearby, the Nigerian Army Cantonment. It had always been there, a silent neighbor, a place no one ever questioned. What most civilians didn't know was that behind those walls sat thousands of high-grade military explosives bombs designed for war, not for cities. They were a ticking time bomb, and that evening, the clock ran out. As the sun began to set, a small fire broke out near a street market beside the cantonment. At first, it didn't seem particularly dangerous. Fires were a common occurrence, but this one was different. It spread. Driven by the wind, the flames crept closer and closer until they reached the Army's ammunition storage facility, and then everything changed. The first blast ripped through Ikeja like a giant's fist. Buildings shook so violently that roofs lifted into the air, glass shattered 4 miles around. Then came another explosion, and another, and another. Bombs that had been stored for decades began to detonate one after the other, turning the cantonment into a massive, raging fireball. Explosives and shrapnel shot into the sky like fireworks from hell, raining back down on civilian neighborhoods. This wasn't a single blast. It was a horrifying chain reaction, an uncontrolled release of destruction that lasted for hours. In the streets, absolute chaos erupted. No one understood what was happening. Rumors spread like wildfire. It's a military coup. We're being attacked by a foreign country. It's another civil war. Fear moved faster than the explosions themselves. People ran for their lives. Parents grabbed their children. Entire families fled barefoot into the dark, smoky night. Crowds surged through the streets, desperate to escape an enemy they couldn't see. But in the darkness and the panic, many ran toward even greater danger. Near the cantonment was a large canal, its waters dark, deep, and covered in weeds. In the stampede to get away, people were pushed toward it. Dozens, then hundreds, fell into the murky water. Weighed down by panic and the sheer press of the crowd, they never came back out. The canal, meant to drain water, became a mass grave. When daylight finally returned, the true scale of the horror was revealed. Lagos looked like a war zone. Bodies lay in the streets. Homes were completely flattened. Unexploded bombs, deadly and unstable, sat where children had once played just hours before. Hospitals were completely overwhelmed with thousands of injured people. Entire families were wiped out in a single night. The official death toll would later be disputed. Some sources say around 700, while others claim over 1,100 people died, most of them drowning in the canal. But one thing was certain: this was one of the worst tragedies Nigeria had ever seen. The investigation that followed confirmed the terrible truth. This was not an act of terrorism. It was not sabotage. The Ikeja bomb blast was a tragic accident. It was caused by a simple fire, made catastrophic by years of poor safety measures and the incredibly dangerous decision to place a massive military armoury right next to a bustling civilian population. For years after the blast, unexploded bombs would continue to be discovered in and around Ikeja, silent, deadly reminders of that night. The Ikeja bomb blast wasn't just an explosion, it was a brutal lesson. A warning that sometimes the greatest danger doesn't come from a declared enemy, but from simple neglect. On January 27, 2002, Lagos didn't just lose lives, it lost its innocence. And for those who survived, the sound of that explosion still echoes in their memory because some nights never truly end. Thanks for watching.